If I had to buy a hotel today and had to start from scratch, this is exactly what I would do. I would follow these 6 steps. And that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So, you've probably seen two types of hotel owner. The first type of hotel owner is one who buys a hotel like an asset. So, they buy it, they set it up, and then someone else runs it. The building begins to appreciate in value and they gain more equity. They just collect their daily cash flows. So they bought the assets, they're not buying shifts. Now, there's a second type of hotel owner, the one who buys it and starts working in it immediately. They spend all their time in the business and rarely get time to do anything else. So the hotel is almost like a chain to them. They are available to the business 24/7. Now, the difference between these two types of hotel owners is not because one is smarter than the other, or one is more hardworking, or one cares more than the other one. It just depends on what they chose to focus on. One person chose to focus on the business systems and structure versus the other one just focused on just working in the business. And that's what we're going to really make all of this for, is to build a hotel where you are not the main operator in the business. So let's get into it. Let's start with step one. If I took over a hotel, the first thing I would do is what I call hotel operations diagnostics. What this simply means is that I'm going to look at the machine of how the whole hotel operates first. I'm going to observe it and then see what is working. Now, what most hotel owners do when they take over is they get really excited. And what they start doing is they start firing staffs, trying to do renovations, repainting, and all those things. Trying to get more customers, more bookings. I know you're excited, but that's not the first thing you do. The first thing is you have to really analyze the machine of the hotel. And what does that look like? I'm going to start asking this question. It's like, who does what in this hotel? I need to know what everybody's task is and what their roles are. First off, I want to see how the work actually gets done. I want to see where inconsistencies happen. Where does the system break when no one is watching? Things like that. Where does things break down? I want to look at the whole machine and understand it properly, build the organizational chart, look at all those things, look at tasks, look at responsibilities. That's the first thing I want to understand first the moment I take over a hotel. So, patience is the name of the game here. If you want to truly build a good system, when you first take over, have some patience and observe how the actual system works currently. Don't change anything yet, just observe. That's the first thing I'll do. Now, step number 2, I'm going to look at the hotel core systems. And for every hotel to operate successfully, there are 5 core systems. So the first one here is the housekeeping system. You have your front desk, which is your guest experience. You have your maintenance system. You have your revenue and reservation systems. And you have your management accountability systems. Now, every hotel runs on these 5 systems. And if they are really strong, what happens is that your business flows seamlessly. And if any one of these systems is broken, you have to jump in and go in and do a lot of firefighting, right? So here's the mindset that I want you to have when it comes to this. A lot of people go in looking for great individuals to put in each of these systems, right? But you need to understand that you don't build a great hotel by finding great individuals. You build a great hotel by having a great system. And the reason why is because if the system is right, even an average player can be a superstar. But if the system is broken, even a superstar will perform very underwhelmingly. So that's something you have to think about, and that should be your mindset, right? So here, we're not fixing people or we're not fixing individuals. We're going to fix the system. So that's how you have to, first of all, look at it. So that's what we're doing in step 1. So we're looking at the systems, right? And then when we get to step 3, and you would notice here, out of all these systems, the first system I choose to actually fix is the housekeeping system. And I will explain why. Because my first objective, when I take over a hotel, will be to make housekeeping process and housekeeping system to be repeatable. Meaning that success in this department has to be repeatable depending on whoever is going to be in that particular role. And I'll explain why this is very important. Now, the housekeeping department controls a lot of aspects of the hotel business. It affects you getting good or terrible reviews for your property. Go check every single hotel reviews. It's always, majority of the comments would be about housekeeping. It guarantees whether you're going to have repeat customers or not. If your room is terrible, most people wouldn't want to come back again. So it also affects your guest happiness. Do they enjoy staying in your property? Do they have a good time? If you deliver really clean and amazing rooms to your guests, they feel happy, they want to stay, they want to be repeat customers, and they will leave great reviews. It affects your brand reputation. If you're known as the cleanest hotel in town, that is your brand reputation. But if your rooms are always dirty, that is also your brand reputation. People will know you for that. Oh, why would they go to that hotel? That's a dirty hotel. They're always dirty. So you want to think about that. If you build your housekeeping systems properly, you have operational efficiency. You're able to operate efficiently, because this could cost you a lot of money. You could lose a lot of money when it comes to housekeeping if things are not done properly. You could lose sheets, you could lose a lot of things, and it could affect your revenue, right? So if you operate efficiently, the chances of you having consistent revenue improves. Because just walk it back. If you have a great hotel housekeeping systems, you operate efficiently, it affects your brand reputation. You are known for having one of the cleanest rooms in town. It affects how guests feel whenever they stay with you. They're happy because they're staying in one of the cleanest hotel rooms in town. The chances of them coming back to your hotel is significantly higher. So you have repeat customers. And if you ask for a review, the chances are you're going to get a great review. Now, how would you accomplish this? What I would do is I'm going to shadow the housekeeping department. I'm going to monitor what they're doing. And the reason for this is so I can create an SOP and a checklist, right? And it's not going to be one of those SOPs that we create super huge manual and then we forget about it, right? No, it's going to be simple to understand SOPs. I'm going to watch what they're doing and I'm going to write it. Okay, step one, when you step into the room, knock the door this way. Do the sheets first. Do this, I'm going to list it that way and then create a checklist. And the whole objective of me doing this is so that the outcome is the same, regardless of whoever is going to be a chef. That's the whole objective of me doing things this way, or creating an SOP and creating a checklist for the housekeeping department. Because when your housekeeper is really dialing, like people can tell the difference immediately. Like, it affects everything in your business. So you have to take this very seriously. So next is, which is step 4, we're going to then fix front desk. So I would only start with front desk once housekeeping has been built properly, right? And front desk, most people typically think of front desk as like just a check-in counter, that's it. No, this is actually very important, because this is where you turn your guests into actual fanatics of your hotel, right? Because this is where you get to upsell your customers to generate more revenue. This is where you get to handle guest complaints, and where you can turn an actual complaint into an opportunity to surprise and delight a guest. So this is actually very important. So if I took over the hotel, this is exactly what I would do. I'll first build a check-in script, an actual script that every single of the staff, front desk staff, would be able to repeat to make sure that every guest that comes to the hotel feels warm and welcome, right? It will be an actual script. I'm not saying that they cannot add their own personality on top of it. No, that's not what I'm saying. But there will be a base script that if anybody follows, can deliver an exceptional service. I'm going to have an upgrade script, basically a script for each of the team to be able to upsell a room to a guest. I will then create a complaint handling protocol. Now, here's what you need to understand. You don't wish for problems to go away. There's always going to be problems, and especially in this particular business. So it's not about wishing the problems away, but rather it's preparing yourself to be able to better handle those problems. So you have to be prepared for those problems whenever they arise. So if you have a guest complain about a room, you should have a proper template on how to handle that situation and turn it to an actual opportunity for you, right? So the next thing I'll create is going to be a checkout script. I'll create a communication SOP. I'll create an upselling script. So a way for them to upsell so that we can generate more money for the business. Now, again, the whole objective of me doing this is so that any staff on the team can deliver exceptional service. So with this, what happens is that you are not dependent on some unicorn employee, but rather you are dependent on a great system. So even if the staff has been working for a year or just 1 week, the level of excellence and delivery would still be the same. That's the objective you want to achieve. And that's your main focus. So once that's built, next we move to step 5. Step number 5 is where we build accountability. Now, you've built all of this system so far. You've built your SOPs, your checklists, and everything. But who makes sure that your team actually follows all of this? And this is what a lot of hotel owners, or a lot of business owners actually skip. And they wonder why things start to slip 2-3 weeks or a month down the line, right? People are no longer following the standards, and then things begin to fall apart. And then you have to jump in and become a firefighter and fix most of all the issues, right? You have to understand that structure creates the freedom for you, right? When you have accountability, people will rise to the standard. And if there's no accountability, your standards will begin to drift. So that's what you have to keep in mind about all of this. So here's the beautiful part, that once you do this, your team is actually really happy. And why they're happy is because they now understand what success looks like. They understand what a win is at the end of every single day. You create checklists and you make sure somebody's responsible. So what I would do is I would create daily checklists for most of all of this. There'll be a daily checklist that every staff has to sign that they did so task. I'd have supervisors sign off, meaning to double check to make sure that things were properly done, right? This is very simple. It's nothing complicated. The next will be weekly report. This is where I'm going to see the summary of the whole business health. I'm going to then see what actually worked well or what is slipping, right? And then the next is going to be KPIs. These are the numbers that is going to tell me what I need to focus on and where we have improved, right? So that's what I'll do. And this is the whole aspect of accountability. And once all of this is done, and then only then do I go to step 6, which is where I begin to obsess about our revenue, basically optimizing revenue. Now, you will notice that revenue is at the bottom. Most people would start this the other way and make it the first thing. What you need to understand is that your revenue is a result of your systems, not the other way around. Because if you have great systems, what happens is that if you have more customers, it doesn't break. There's a lot of business owners out there who are actually scared of getting more customers. Simply because if they get more customers, it's going to be more headache to their business because they know they can't deliver. So before you obsess about getting more people into your business, you want to make sure your business is solid and you won't crumble at the fact that you have to deliver more, right? So what I would do is focus on pricing. Make sure I create dynamic pricing. Most hotel owners just have fixed pricing. I'm not doing that because even most OTAs don't have fixed pricing for your own hotel. Booking.com, Expedia, they don't have a fixed price. They always fluctuate to basically put the best price that is going to guarantee the most amount of occupancy for your hotel. So that's what I would do. Then I'm going to look at my OTA strategy. So that because it impacts my direct booking, I'm going to obsess about ways to improve direct bookings, and that include giving so much more offers, making sure there's price parity between my platform and OTAs, things like that. Because what we don't understand is that most of these OTAs are reducing the prices and your prices is still fixed. And most people will leave your website and go to OTAs to book. That's something to think about. Then I'll start focusing on creating packages for my upselling, right? So, like I told you before, if revenue increases because my operations are doing fantastic. So let me tie this all together. So if I took a hotel today, I wouldn't work on fixing revenue right away. I wouldn't focus on marketing. I wouldn't focus on doing cosmetic changes. What I'm going to first do is, first of all, map out the core systems. I'm going to map out the core systems, fix those systems. Then once I fix them, particularly starting with housekeeping, making sure that housekeeping system is really good because that's the backbone of the hotel. Then I'll move to front desk and optimize what they're doing, create a system to make sure that every single body on the team can deliver exceptional service regardless of who is in shift. And then I'm going to build accountability to make sure that all of these things are built, everybody's following the exact standards. And then, only then, do I focus on optimizing revenue. And this is how you build a hotel that works without you. It is not complicated. It's actually very simple. The only thing is if you follow the sequence. This is how you build a hotel that actually is an asset, that actually appreciates in value and actually generates more revenue, even though you're away. So, I wish you luck, and I'll see you in the next one.